One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
To reach us right now is 800-848-9222. You can call us right now. The phone lines are open. Again, Dominic Carter filling in. Among the stories that we will get to, what I'm thinking about, again, filling in for Greg Kelly, is I'm thinking about Erica Kirk, the wife of Charlie Kirk, our colleague who was murdered. And she arrived at court this morning in Utah to face her husband's alleged killer with Charlie Kirk's heartbroken parents. Can you imagine Erica Kirk? She was dressed in black, and can you imagine as she was rushed into the courthouse what must be going through her mind as she is going to be facing her husband's alleged killer for the first time? 800-848-9222. Dominic Carter in for Greg Kelly. Coming up in minutes at 1:30, we'll be talking with the newest edition of the Red Apple Audio Network's former Trump attorney Michael Cohen will be joining me live coming up in about 22 minutes. So America celebrating its 250th birthday. And what an amazing leader we have in terms of President Trump, making us all feel good about something that we should feel honorable about, and that is America. The president speaking. This as turmoil happening in terms of the issue of communists. It's growing. The president speaking about it. The issue of socialists in cities and states all across this country. The issue of the socialist mayor in New York City, in which Mamdani, we had a police detective 10 days from retirement shot in the back. And now it turns out it may have been friendly fire. But the fact remains is that the detective should have never been in that situation facing an 18-year-old suspect that's in custody. We're also dealing with the shooting in Brooklyn, New York. Folks were out for the fireworks. You have a situation where 4 children were shot. New York is starting to look like the new Chicago. 800-848-9222. Before we get to the police commissioner of New York City and what occurred over the weekend, let's start with some of your telephone calls. Let's go to Alan, line 1 in Queens. Alan, what's on your mind?
My brother, God bless America. What a spectacular weekend for New York. I know everybody's down on the Muslim mayor and the calamity of what's happening, but let's take a step back and see what took place in Newport Beach, where the average home, Dominic, is $3 million, and they were going nuts. So attaboys to everybody from New York. And real quick, on the cop issue, when the cops start advocating for us, then it's a lot easier for us to advocate for them.
Wait a minute, Alan. Are you trying to say police don't advocate on behalf of the public? They put their lives on the line. What else more do you want?
Finish my point. COVID was only made...
No. Answer the question I just asked you, please.
I think that they have you're upset with the judges. Call them out by not doing your jobs. How quickly would everything reform if every NYPD officer didn't report for duty?
Okay, so Alan, before I move on to the next call, are you familiar with the Taylor law as it relates to New York?
Are you familiar with the fact that they closed
Okay,
the
wait. Alan, this doesn't work if you ask me on a question on top of a question. Are you familiar with the Allen law in New York?
New York is disintegrating because the
Okay,
police...
Alan, I'm going to ask you for the third and final time. Are you familiar? Just say yes or no. Are you familiar with the Allen law in New York?
I don't know what you're not understanding about this law.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'm gonna lay it out for you very clearly so that you can understand. If the police do what you want them to do, for each day that they're out on strike, they lose 2 days' pay. Now, who in their right mind is going to engage in something like that?
Cuomo's got a Sunday show on your program. Are you kidding me?
What does that have to do? Alan, I'm trying to respect you, and I'm trying to get to whatever point you're trying to make. I still don't know what it is, but you didn't deal. You just told the police to walk out, right? Okay, fine, walk out. But for every day they're out, they lose 2 days' pay. You are aware of that, correct?
Businesses, because they were measuring tables during COVID. Are you kidding me, Dominic?
Okay. Thank you for the call, Alan. Let's see here. Let's go to line 2. Bob here on the Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in. Bob in New Jersey. Bob, what's on your mind? Good afternoon.
Hey, Dominic. So good to speak to you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to discuss this red card situation with the soccer.
Yes.
I'm not a soccer aficionado.
Neither am I.
In fact, I don't really even watch it. So, but from what I saw of the play, there was no way that the USA player, specifically stepped on the guy's foot. And I also think, nobody's been discussing whether the guy was injured or not. So I'm assuming that he wasn't injured.
So what's your position on it, Bob? I mean, the game is tonight against Belgium. The sports world, certainly the other team, they're upset because this guy is that good. And he changes the dynamic of the game. With him playing tonight, USA has an opportunity to move on from the Sweet 16. So what's your position on this before I move on?
Well, yeah. I think it's much ado about nothing. That's my position. I mean, it really didn't look like, it looked bad. And I thought he could have broken his ankle, but he got up and walked off the field. So much ado about nothing. Okay, well, I want the player to play. As of right now, it's my understanding that he's going to play tonight. And with him on that field, Team USA has a real shot. At least they're in it to win it, right? We can agree on that. Bob, thank you for the wonderful call. Let's go to Greg in Vernon, New Jersey, here on the Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in. What's on your mind, Greg?
Hi, Dominic. I just want to talk a little bit about the unfortunate destruction of New York City. And really, Western civilization is all being attacked. It's all one. But the terms socialism and communism really are just a mask for Islamism. Muslims don't have a separation between politics and religion. It doesn't exist like we see it. So, they're just using those terms because they're easy to understand by some people, and they're even agreeable to some people. But it's all Islamism. That's what it is, in my opinion.
Okay, so what should happen as a result?
We should understand that and try and get rid of these people in the most effective way possible. And there's really no other way to do it. because they have a mindset to dominate. That's it. They're not here to assimilate. They're here to dominate, period. That's it. Full stop. That's what they're here for. Either we let it happen or we stop it somehow. I don't have a solution. I wish I did.
Right. Well, you know what, Greg? I think I tend to agree with the position that you just articulated. And it really does come down to either we stop it or we don't. And something has to give, folks, because we cannot continue along this path as Americans that we're going down with this communism and these socialists that are being elected around the country. It's just not the American way. Dominic Carter in on this Monday in for Greg Kelly. We see all your telephone calls, and it's wonderful that I get the opportunity to do this show because it gives me so much time to be able to chat with you folks and take your wonderful calls, and we can hash out the issues. We can work this out together. Let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Ken in Queens. Ken, line 5. Welcome to the Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure talking to you. I'm just concerned about what's going on with our police force, man. You have a guy come up and shoot 2 cops in a car. Lucky they had their vest on. But all they do is tase them. Don't they shoot back? I mean, they got to bring stop and frisk back to this city. You got kids running around with guns, and they're not afraid to use them. There's shootings every day and night. Yesterday alone, there was 5 or 6 shootings in Brooklyn. And what's going on? This police commissioner is the worst. I'll tell you the worst.
No, I disagree with you on that, Ken. I think she's the absolute best, but Jessica Tisch. But you said all they did was tase, right? So shouldn't they be given credit for the enormous restraint that they showed?
I can't believe. All she said was, "Oh, our police car was shot up. They shot through the window, this and that." And all they did was tase the guy? What the hell is wrong with our cops? They're afraid to shoot because of this stupid mayor we have and this stupid police commissioner. We need a police commissioner.
The one area that I would agree with you, Ken, and it's reckless on my part, what happened in, I think, North Charleston, I believe, South Carolina, where that female police officer came under attack by that wolf pack of African-American teens, and they were beating this woman to a pulp. Part of me wishes that once she got up and other officers were there to back her up, and I really shouldn't say this, I wish she had shot one of them in the face, because it would teach them a lesson that you don't attack police officers. You don't put your hands on police officers. Ken, thank you for the call. We've got to take a break. Dominic Carter in for Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Dominic Carter filling in for Greg Kelly. Greg has the day off. Coming up in just minutes, we will be chatting with the newest edition of our family here on the network, former longtime Trump attorney Michael Cohen. It'll be very interesting to hear what he has to say. In the meantime, you and I on the phones, if you're trying to get through, folks, just wait a minute or two and a line should clear up. A lot of things on the plate that I want to get to filling in for Greg. But right now, this is an opportunity for us to chat with each other, and that is exactly what we are doing. Let's go to Sandra, line 4, New Jersey. Sandra, what's on your mind?
Oh, good afternoon, Dominic. Always glad to hear you're going to have more hours today. But
well, thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to tell you something, Dominic. You know, you are right. That mayor had disrespect doing his speech before Trump, but I was thinking about it. It was actually a blessing in disguise. I'll tell you why. I looked at both of them. One came across as dark and evil and eerie, and the other one, Donald Trump, came out like a shining star. So in a way, he did himself a very big disservice displaying himself the way he did in that dark room behind that special desk. But he did not do himself a favor. He actually did Donald Trump a favor. So I wanted you to maybe look at it a little differently.
Well, I understand your point, Sandra, but Mamdani did that for media attention. He knew that if he spoke after President Trump, no one would care, I'm talking about media-wise, what he had to say. So for him, it's all about the timing for the media. And to do it on Friday behind George Washington's desk with the newly arrived American citizens, if you will, he was doing this for a press play. Were you offended or not at what Mamdani had to say?
I was very offended. It was, like I said, dark. There was no hope. There was no optimism. He was picking on our country that we're so proud to be a part of. I mean, I went to see the movie, Dominic, and I want you to go see it, Young Washington. That's what we want to hear. Hope, courage, going forward, building, loving what we have instead of knocking it down like he did. He should be ashamed of himself. And I'm so glad. And I know he must be hearing you every day, Dominic, because let me tell you, you are very brave yourself to speak up and to be so honest about who is running that city. It's so sad. And I think, again, I'm glad it turned out the way it did because it showed everyone the difference between two different people. And I certainly didn't like the first choice.
Right.
So,
well, we agree that President Trump, very positive, giving us all reason to celebrate. And Mamdani, I mean, who do you think you are? No one made you the leader of the opposition party. You know, he's the mayor of New York, sanitation, health, crime, and he wants to deal with everything else except for what should be on his plate. Sandra, thank you for the call. Olena, line 2, New Jersey, here on the Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in.
Hello, Dominic. Nice to speak to you during the day.
Well, there we go.
Dominic, first of all, my prayers go out to Erica Kirk. Yes. Not only did she lose a victim, a husband, not only did their children lost a father.
Absolutely.
But the communists won. The communists won a battle. This is what they did to people before they came into power. And if we're fighting communists in our cities, we call it socialism, but it's communism.
And Olena, I hear you. I'm up against a break. Thank you for the wonderful comment. Coming up, we'll talk to Trump attorney Michael Cohen.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Dominic Carter filling in for Greg Kelly today. I was hoping to chat with the former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, but I'm now told that he's instead going to be on Katz and Cosby coming up a bit later on today. So that's must listen to radio. You don't want to miss that. The number to reach me here on Greg's program is 800-848-9222. I rarely have time to just talk with you folks and hash out issues. And thus, that's what this opportunity is all about. If you happen to live in the New York area, you know that unfortunately, a New York City detective was shot in the back yesterday, 10 days from retirement, and we're being told now that it may have been friendly fire. This was the police commissioner at her announcement, Jessica Tisch.
What we can say at this point is that at approximately 4:14 this morning, officers assigned to a mobile field force detail in the confines of the 7-7 precinct were parked in an unmarked police vehicle on the west side of Nostrand Avenue and St. John's Place when an individual approached their car. That same individual was captured on CCTV video 5 minutes prior and 1 block north with a firearm in his hand. Given the lack of body-worn camera in this incident, the circumstances of the approach are still unclear. but we can say that officers exited their vehicle and attempted to engage the armed individual. There is also ballistic damage to the department vehicle that the officers were sitting in, including bullet holes in the front and rear windshields and the passenger side of the car. 3 officers discharged their weapons. The subject was not struck. After a foot pursuit, the subject was apprehended a few blocks away from the incident location at Rogers Avenue and Union Street. During the apprehension, the subject resisted arrest and refused to be handcuffed. A taser was deployed and the subject was taken into custody. A SAR 9mm firearm was recovered. During the gunfire, one detective was struck in the back of his ballistic vest. X-rays show a contusion to the detective's back near where the bullet struck his vest. A second officer suffered a contusion to the face and the shoulder. The officers involved in this incident were there as part of our 4th of July violence reduction plan to address ongoing crew violence in the area. The officers had been reassigned there shortly before midnight from a Sale 250 detail in Lower Manhattan earlier in the day. The injured officers were immediately transported to Kings County Hospital. The officer who was shot is Detective Robert Carroll of the Sex Offender Monitoring Unit. I have visited with Detective Carroll, and I am grateful to report that he is expected to make a full recovery. His ballistic vest performed exactly as it was designed, and today that vest saved his life.
And indeed, the vest doing exactly what it was supposed to do. And a detective, only 10 days from retirement, he made it all the way to the final 10 days to undergo something like this with one of these monsters, only 18 years old. And I ask this question all the time. And Dominic Carter, filling in for Greg Kelly. You know, I'm just going to say urban America. Something has to give with these out-of-control young people in urban America. We go from New York City to what happened in North Charleston, South Carolina. Did you see the video there where you see the female officer? She happens to be white, I believe, and she's on the ground fighting for her survival, being jumped by a group of predominantly African-American teenagers. And they have no regard for the fact of the uniform that she is wearing. As they attack her, roundhouse punch her, she's on the ground. This is going on and on and on. Before we go back to your telephone calls, I want you to listen to the police union official representing detectives, and that is Scott Monroe.
Thank you. This has to stop. 3 weeks ago, we had a detective shot in the same hospital. We were in the same hospital. This has to stop. Our members are out there day and night, hours and hours, protecting the people of the city of New York, doing a job that they took an oath to take. And they need to be respected. And thank God this detective is going home. And like I said last time, we're not planning a funeral today, thank God. 9 years ago, we were, though. We need this to stop. We got to respect policing in New York City. You have to respect us. And they have to prosecute this individual. He should not see the light of day. You don't walk up to a police car with a firearm with 4 police officers that worked hours and hours all week long, prior weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they continue to do the job. This has to stop. Thank you.
And it does. You folks that listen to me twice a day on 3 p.m. Eastern and back live at midnight, you know I talk about the fact that I grew up in the hood. Not one of these fake rappers that's talking about the hood. I really grew up in the hood. And as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to brag about. But growing up in the hood, you knew you do not touch a police officer, period. That was a major no-no. A major no-no. And now you've got teenagers 18 years old with a gun. The teenagers in South Carolina, completely out of control. I don't know, folks. Back to your telephone calls. The Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in. Let's go to line 4. Joe in Brooklyn. Joe, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, big fan. To address the fellow Allen that called a little bit before, even though he was kind of yelling, I don't know if he understood what the Taylor law was. I certainly do. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even if the cops, even if they ended up striking, wouldn't they just be able to renegotiate the back pay that they lost?
I don't know. Under this mayor, would you take that chance under this mayor?
Oh, good, very good point. And I think the Times the Times, unfortunately, how we live now, dictate a certainty that has never been no certainty really. Like the corrections strike in the 70s, they ended up getting everything back. The corrections had a strike. What was it, last year? And Hochul fired all of them. So now you have all the National Guard in the working in the prisons. So you don't know, even if this guy Allen was like, oh, why don't they strike? You really don't know if that's going to work. What if they end up coming up against the cops? What I do know is that something has to give. There are no right, easy decisions in life, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So something does.
You're
have
not
to give,
wrong.
because I think right. So it's a real pickle we're in. Big fan, Dominic. Thanks again.
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you for the wonderful call. I wouldn't personally take a chance with this mayor. I mean, who at the 11th hour calls the Speaker of the New York City Council, Julie Menin, and goes, oops, my bad. Those 600 additional cops that I promised you, those new cops, they're not coming. The NYPD is already stretched as thin can get, as many police departments are across the country. Let's go to Silas, line 3, Staten Island. Silas, what's on your mind?
Yeah, he's absolutely right with the Taylor law, and I don't know if they can renegotiate it. But what can be legally done is you have to change the laws to get teenagers to be arrested and they stay in jail. Because that kid who walked up to the police car and shot them, he thought either I'm going to shoot them all and I'm going to go back to my homies and say, look what I did, or he knows if I do get caught, I'll be out. So that's cool. Once they realize that they're going to stay in jail, they'll stop. We do have to change the laws. And if we don't get an Alvin Bragg out of office and we don't get Bruce Blakeman in office, if we don't change the system by these midterms and get Republicans in there, then yes, we're going to be in for some bad news.
So, Silas, help me out here. I don't know if you've seen the video out of North Charleston, South Carolina. Have you?
I didn't see it, but I'm with you.
Okay, so just imagine, this is the best way I can describe it, a baby deer surrounded by 5 alligators. That's what it looked like. And the alligators in this case happen to be urban children. Silas, I know you know exactly what I'm saying. And the officer happened to be white. How does that happen, Silas?
Because they know they'll be released. They know the law. And they know, well, I'm not of age yet. But once they know it's on the books that you're going to be taken down and you're going to stay in jail, that's the only way it'll stop. Any law that was passed, whether it's speeding or whatever, you stop doing it once you see the law won't put up with it. There are counties down south that they won't even put up with shoplifting, and they put a stop to it. So we certainly better put a stop to anyone assaulting a cop. Even when I walked the streets as a teenager back in my day, I said, there's one thing you never do. You don't engage that cop. If you get caught doing something stupid, run like hell and get out of there. That's how we grew up.
Right. And what I'm thinking about, Silas, happens to be, police officers that are on the corner, police officers that are in the car. I don't know about you, Silas, but every officer I've encountered has been willing to help, 9.5 out of 10 times kind, 9.5 out of 10 times willing to go the extra step. And these are people that put their lives on the line every day. And, I couldn't do the job that they do. I really couldn't, Silas, because, and I know it's not responsible for me to say this on the Greg Kelly program, but that female officer that was under attack by that gang, part of me feels she should have shot one of them in the face. And then it would be, she'd be facing criminal charges. And it's just, I don't know. Something has to give here. Thank you for the great call, Silas. Let's go here to line 2 on the Greg Kelly Show. Dominic Carter filling in. Mike in New Jersey. Mike, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. Love the show.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about Mr. Cohen. I see that he didn't want to go before you and your audience because we all know he is a weasel.
Wait. You said what now? You said he didn't want. I didn't hear what you said.
You said he was supposed to appear on your show, where he would have got phone calls from regular people who would recognize what a weasel he is.
Well, Mike, you're entitled to your opinion. We all have our detractors. We all have our supporters. It is what it is. Mr. Cohen is moving forward with his life, and I just say more blessing to him. We all fall down in life. The question is, do you get back up? Would you agree with that, Mike?
I totally agree. I forgive him. I love him as a human being, but I can't forget what he tried to do to what, in my opinion, the greatest president we've ever had.
No doubt about it. The greatest president we've ever had, President Trump. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's easy to look at something, and thank you for the great call, Mike. It's easy to look at something from the outside, but until you're on the inside, we have no idea what is going on. We see all your great calls that are continuing to come in here on the Greg Kelly Show, and it's just so refreshing for me because I have more time than what I normally have to engage with you and to talk with you and to ask follow-up questions. What's that? A follow-up question. And just have more time. Dominic Carter in for Greg Kelly. You can reach me up until the 3 p. hour Eastern time around the country. 800-848-9222, and from 3 to 4, my regular program. So, folks, stay with us. We see all your calls. We are coming right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Dominic Carter in for Greg Kelly. What a great honor for me, folks, to have all of this time to chat with you folks. It really is great. And I want to continue with your calls. I'm with you for the next hour and 7 minutes of Greg Kelly's program. And then my program the normal program starts at from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Lots of great calls here. Let's go to Gail in Pennsylvania. Gail, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. In addressing the behavior of some of the young black people, unfortunately, black children are overrepresented as foster children. And largely, the Association of Black Social Workers has for a long time prevented adoptions of these children by many white couples who would in fact want to adopt them. And I don't feel behavior is going to be that great if you're shifting around, if a child is shifted around to so many foster parents.
Well, Gail, as a black child that was once part of the New York City foster care system myself, I as a toddler, I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree with the position. You said black social workers.
It's an organization that has even legislated in the past against those kinds of adoptions. And people are going to different countries to adopt children of different, races.
Gail, I agree with you, and you're hitting the sensitive button for me, to be honest with you and be candid with you, because, and I've talked about this several times. One of the things that I'm embarrassed about, that I'm really embarrassed about, seriously embarrassed about, is that I don't really have a male figure that happens to be African American that was a role model. I've talked about this. My grandfather was a heroin addict, and I'm proud of him because he kicked his addiction. Okay, I'm proud. When he left this earth, he left clean. But one of the things that I'm embarrassed about is, and I've talked about this, Gail, so I agree with everything you just said, is that two white men are part of the reason why I'm before this microphone with you right now. My Uncle Lowell in Seattle, Washington, and my Coach Bill, my football coach, a New York City police officer at the time. We didn't understand, but Bill would do his day job, and then he would come to the hood and coach 40 to 50 black and Latino kids, almost all of us with no fathers to be found anywhere, and he became our father figure. And at least in my situation, we learned through the sport of football discipline. We learned that you had to meet your weight requirements. And when you didn't, if you didn't come down, you couldn't play. So every week we had to get down to, for lack of a better term, we had to get down to our jock straps, and we're in a room and we had to get on the scale. And you have to come in at a certain weight or you can't play. And my Uncle Lowell taught me everything about being a man. So two white men stepped up in my life. And so I agree with you, Gail, that it's love is love. And families that are going to open their doors, why should race have to do with anything with this? Gail, you have the final say before I move on.
Yes, absolutely. Why should people have to go to different countries to adopt different racial groups when they can do it here and these children can feel that they have a permanent home? It's not good to be shifting all the time. That's really detrimental. And I think you were very fortunate, and God bless those men that were your
I was
figures.
very fortunate.
Yeah, God bless them. And today, anybody.
But it is embarrassing, Gail. Being honest with you, it's embarrassing.
I lost my father at, I guess I was about 12 and a half. And I know it is hard, and you miss the father figure more as you age, I think.
Right.
You don't realize it.
You do. But I don't know about a father figure because I never had one of those. Gail, thank you for the great telephone call. Folks, we have another hour of the Greg Kelly Show. You, I, and the airwaves to talk with each other together. We're coming right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?